Hello, everyone. I am at Lake Balaton with friends, so this is a very unusual video, but I decided to do it nevertheless because the new moon, the Virgo new moon on the 27th, has some fascinating features, and I thought it would be interesting to just create this video. But of course, there are some noises, and we have a slight breeze that might be quite loud in the recording. I will take a look afterwards to see how bad it is. I don't have any filters or anything. And of course, the children are playing and people are here and having fun. And actually, the lake is quite warm. We had a couple of days that were very cold and some rain finally. And you can hear probably the children how they are playing. Anyhow, and the reason why I'm doing this video is because I'm sure if you are acquainted with regular astrology, you noticed that this particular new moon squares Mars. And that is not really good. Actually, Mars is in Virgo, and it's going to be there for almost 6 months, so quite for a long time. And Mars in did I say Virgo? Sorry, Gemini. Why did I say Virgo? Sorry, because it's a Virgo new moon and it's squared by the Gemini Mars. And Gemini Mars is about fighting through words or intellectual struggles, intellectual will, or the will that is infused with knowledge and intellect, and with Gemini, of course, it's information as well. So there's an information war going on, and this particular Virgo moon is really is really suggesting this. Let's take a look at sorry, this is what I want to share. Yes, this is it. So the space-time moment is on August 27th at 9:17 a.m. Libra is rising in the London chart. You can see that the Sun-Moon conjunction is also conjunct Transpluto, the TNO of the dimension jump, and also channeling. And it squares, the new moon squares Mars. And there are a couple of other features. For instance, there is a karmic cage, a T-square, involving the Ceres Venus conjunction, which is separating. It's actually Ceres that is really creating the T-square. I'm going to show you in a minute. The vertex is conjunct Chiron. So actually the vertex, the point of when I say in karmic astrology, the vertex is about how I'm totally helpless. Where is it that I can't do anything? And to tell you the truth, listening to your would-be prime minister woman, okay, Liz Truss, I'm sorry, she's a cretin. I mean, she's an idiot. She just said a day ago that I'm recording this on the 25th, that she is willing to press the atomic launch button. Anyone who is a responsible leader can't say this. You can't start an atomic war in Europe. And by the way, my dear English friends, Ukraine is not your friends. Ukraine is not a nice country. The Ukrainians are not nice people. I'm not saying that they should be in a war. I'm not saying this, but please research it. Please take a look at what they did in history and why. Take a look at their leaders, okay, and try to assess the situation in a different way. And I'm just really shocked how, if you look around, cretins are the leaders of Europe. I mean, look at their scandals. Look at their intellectual levels. It's terrible, okay? And really, if you can do something about it, please don't allow this person to become prime minister, and please try to put some sense into politics, because it's ridiculous what's going on. Anyhow, if you take a look at this chart, you will see that besides this karmic age, which I'm going to show you in a minute, there's a Chiron vertex conjunction. It's also a Jupiter descendant conjunction. That's quite fascinating, because it simply means that your enemy is blown up to huge proportions. And the Juno-Austria conjunction is still very tight. So is the North Node Uranus conjunction. And that's practically the energy pattern. So let's take a look at it in detail in a little bit. I made a couple of drawings for you. Of course, you do have a cardinal ground cross between the angles, which is not unusual. So you do have the cardinal ground cross, ascendant, descendant, and midheaven and IC. And this is also well, we could say that it's a dissolved square. So the Mars new moon square is dissolved by Mercury, by the Mercury Mars trine in air signs, which actually is good, because the original problem with the Mars new moon square is this: Mars moon square is simply hysterics. The way you live through it is that someone is stepping into or hurting your soul. The Sun Mars square denotes a bad relationship between the emperor and the general. Okay, so it means that the emperor is fighting against his own general, or the general is fighting against the emperor. So here, world leaders will have a big problem with their military. And this is dissolved by Mercury, which in Libra denotes diplomacy. It describes how to be diplomatic, how to use words, calm words, cool, reserved words for resolving the situation. So that is a true dissolution of the square. And of course, there's also a Jupiter Sun Moon Mercury Sun Moon Transpluto quincunx. It is a bit wide for my taste, but it's kind of there. And the two configurations are linked by a biquintile between Mars and the IC. So the homeland, your home, the family, the roots will be important if you want to really to find some sort of resolution to the issue. Here are the relevant transcendental celestial objects. On Sun Moon Transpluto, you have Amor, love, Leto. She's the mother of Apollo and Artemis, so she's a god, a mother goddess. And Parsifal, the knight in shining armor. On Mercury, you have Riphonos, the centaur Riphonos, who is a sprite originally, out of the 12 sprites that Zeus employs in order to save or actually to guard Hercules' crater. And Riphonos takes the task so seriously that he actually turns himself into a centaur with his upper body becomes a horse, and his lower body becomes a horse, and his upper body human being. And in this way, he's more able to do what's necessary for what's necessary for the task. And Riphonos, when it's prominent, usually denotes a behavior pattern or a way of attitude by which you transform yourself into something totally different because you have a sacred task. The wind picked up, so probably you will hear it in the recording. I really apologize, but I can't do anything about it. I will try to be short and anyhow. You also have Requiem, which is not very good, of course. Electra, heroine, Psyche, the soul, and you have the supergalactic center on Mercury, which is one of the key celestial areas in karmic astrology at 1 degree 14 at the moment in Libra, and it denotes the dilemma of nothing is ever enough. So that's Mercury. And on the IC, you have Justitia, justice, Panacea, the universal healing, and Tuva, secret societies. That's on the IC. On Jupiter descendant, you have Hatshepsut, one of the first and only documented female pharaohs. On Mars, you have Urania, the views of astronomy and astrology. And on the MC, you have Hathor and Fantasia, fantasy, and Hathor, another mother goddess. So that is that. And then we have another planetary picture at 16, 18 degrees of the sun. And this is the karmic cage I was talking to you about. At the apex, you have Ceres. Venus is nearby, but it's not really included in the configuration. And by the way, there's also, I should have mentioned it, there's also a Venus, which is, according to Judy Hall, she described it as an inherent unlovableness. So it's there. So that's the apex. Ceres in Leo is at the apex of this fixed karmic cage. What is there? There's a mini trapeze. At the base, you have a trine. You have two semi-sextiles as the sides, and the top, the stage, is the black moon-lit Uranus North Node conjunction. So actually, and of course, at the base you have Chiron. Chiron vertex trine Ceres. So the saving grace, the healing energy comes from the home, and actually it's a fire trine. So there's transformation included as well. And the top of the stage is the Uranus black moon lit. Black moon lit is courage and stamina and committedness, and also clairvoyance. And yours, so of course, it's change for present destiny choices. So that's the mini trapeze. And there's another trapeze, which is a karmic trapeze, because the inside of them, by the way, with the mini trapeze, the inside energy is two squares. There's a fixed square and a cardinal square. The fixed square, of course, is the one portion of the karmic cage. And with the karmic trapeze, the base is the other side of the karmic cage, the square between Ceres and South Node. And also Hygeia is here, by the way. I put it somewhere there, so you will see it. And the two sides are two trines. The fire trine between Chiron and Ceres, and the water trine between the South Node and Juno Astraea. The Juno Astraea conjunction actually has been there for quite a while. It's not unusual for two asteroids to travel together. They have roughly the same orbital periods, and of course, when they become retrograde or direct at the same time, they tend to travel together. So that's why you see it, and it still gives us the chance to completely change our relationship, partnerships, not just on the physical or the human level, but on the universal level, and also the political level as well. And of course, Astraea is the karma breaker, the destiny changer. And this is supported by the trine from the South Node, which is the past, which is karmic knowledge. So that's it. And there's a tiny semi-sextile at the top, involving the Chiron, the vertex, and the Juno Astraea. So that's what you have there. That's the stage. It's a tiny stage, but you can do it if you want to. Here are the transcendental celestial objects. Okay, on the North Node, you have not just the vertex, but also Uranus, of course, and Imhotep. Who was Imhotep? He was a polymath. He was a builder, a physician, a priest. Okay, so you can read his stele. I think it's in Komombo. I do hope I remember correctly, but there's a stele where he even describes childbirth and all sorts of surgery procedures. On the South Node, you have Hygeia, putting things in order, Melpomene, tragedy, Athena, the wisdom, okay, and also the protector of Athens. Shiva with W is actually the love goddess of the Slavonic people, so it's a love goddess, just like Venus. And then Zuben Alganovi, which is one of the scales in Libra, and it's a healing word for all kinds of social reforms, but these are positive usually, but all sorts of social reforms come at a price. And the Zuben Alganovi portion is the alpha star, usually denotes changes that are for the benefit of people. So there's hope. On Chiron, you have Thalia. Of course, everything is theater. That's what you have. And nothing is ever true, what the news are telling us, or the news is telling us. On Ceres, you have Isis, another mother goddess, and Dubhe, who is actually the healing world for mothering issues, because Dubhe is the alpha star of Ursa Major, so the big bear. And the whole bear constellation, little bear and big bear, are linked to the mother goddess. And on Black Moon, Black Moon Lilith, you have Rhea, another mother goddess, Hebe, the goddess of youth, and two very bright stars, Sirius and Canopus. Canopus is on the southern portion of the sky. You never see it from London or from Europe or from Northern America, because it's really a very southern sky. It's Alpha Argon Navis, but quite bright. And then Sirius is just below Orion, or the eastern foot of Orion, and it is the brightest star of the sky, in the sky, and it denotes brilliance and sacred energy. So it's a very important star at the moment. The Black Moon is aligned with these two stars. And then Juno, Astrea, you have Hermes, of course. The we have wasps as well here. Tons of wasps this year, because we had a very dry summer, and wasps come, they're swarming at when it's dry. So Hermes, and of course he is the Greek version of Mercury, and it's more playful. He's also the patron saint of alchemy and all kinds of magical things. And then Teharan here, Wako, who is a TNO, and it describes a new era where you need new skills and you learn them usually through hard work. And it's simply it's the teacher who comes, or the wise man who comes to and teaches us to do new ways, because the old ones are no longer true and no longer valid and usable. So these are the energy patterns of that. And then there's one more thing that I wanted to show you, because we also have a quintuple arrow in this chart, involving, of course, the new moon with Transpluto, semi-sextile Mercury. And at the apex, you have the Juno-Astrea conjunction. So that's the apex. And the crux of the matter is the fact that we need to totally renew our alliances. If we don't do that, we are going to be doomed. This winter can destroy not just families, not just the middle class will be wiped out, because we have leaders who are cretins, who are idiots. Okay, the whole new Green Deal is terrible. There's no such thing as green energy. Please research it. Okay, and if we don't do something about it, we are going to be either frozen or we are going to be starved to death. And what's even more important, the middle class, who could be the stronghold, the backbone of a society, will be wiped out, and European culture will also be totally wiped out. So this is a wake-up call. This new moon, this particular moon, is a very strong new moon with the Mars square, of course, to it. But as you can see, there are many facets to this space-time moment, and it's up to us human beings to simply get rid of our leaders who are idiots and replace them with people who care and people who can do things in a proper way. This is what we need at the moment. Happy new moon, everyone. Thank you for listening to me, and try to be safe. Bye-bye.